Both of our Democratic opponents are calling for a minimum wage between $20 and $25 an hour. You're calling for a $50 an hour federal minimum wage.
Just do the math. Of course, we have national minimum wages that we need to raise to a living wage. You're talking about $20, $25, fine. But I have got to be focused on what California needs and what the affordability factor is when we calculate this wage.
Ms. Lee.
Meanwhile,
well, expect to pay more at your favorite fast food joint this year as minimum wage for all fast food employees hits $20 an hour in April under a new law. Several franchise and restaurant owners say their only choice is to raise prices.
But some customers claim the price hikes are simply a way for owners to take advantage of rising prices everywhere else.
But soon, what would cost you $11 at McDonald's will soon cost $13. Businesses say that's because minimum wage has gone up and they're going to have to pay their workers more. The reaction from customers here tonight is mixed. Oh no, they're already expensive. Restaurant operators are blaming minimum wage. In April, fast food workers' minimum wage in California will go from $16 to $20 per hour. Governor Newsom signed into law Assembly Bill 1228. It is meant to address cost of living for fast food workers.
I'm honestly pissed. These used to be $1, you feel me?
She stopped by the McDonald's in North Hollywood for a quick meal after a long shift. Her order of a sandwich and fries used to be on the dollar menu. Now,
$5.69.
Last year, McDonald's and Chipotle indicated prices were going to go up by high single-digit percentages.
I mean, the minimum wage should go up for them. You know, they're out there burning themselves. Doesn't mean you have to raise the prices on this. You're going to get just as many customers.
Pizza Hut blamed more than 1,200 driver layoffs in California on this new law. Feelings are mixed.
It sucks for people that can't really afford to buy food, but everybody's raising their prices. This is what happens in inflation. This is what happens when everyone is focused on greed.
Analysts say some businesses may invest in automation to reduce the reliance on low-wage workers altogether.
All right, guys, so we got to go out to Cuckoo for Cocoa Puff World, and that is California, as there was a Senate candidate forum taking place with Adam Schiff, Barbara Lee, and other Democrat Congress members that are running for the Senate seat that used to belong to the late Dianne Feinstein, okay? And during this Senate forum, one Democrat, Ms. Barbara Lee, said the quiet part out loud about what she wants to see, not just for California, but for the nation when it comes to a minimum wage. Because, you know, when you're running for Senate, you are running for an office that will affect the entire nation. And this Looney Tune believes that a $50 an hour minimum wage would actually be a good thing for the entire country, despite the fact that her state of California is currently suffering mass layoffs and increase in prices in the fast food industry due to the rapid increase in the minimum wage there. I think they've raised the minimum wage for fast food workers to like $20 an hour or something like that at fast food restaurants, okay? And the consumers in California are already feeling the consequences of that, right? But despite this, this woman really went on this candidate forum and advocated for a $50 an hour minimum wage. Take a look.
Both of our Democratic opponents are calling for a minimum wage between $20 and $25 an hour. You're calling for a $50 an hour federal minimum wage. That's 7 times the current national minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. Can you explain how that would be economically sustainable for small businesses? You have 60 seconds.
First, let me say I owned and ran a small business for 11 years. I created hundreds of jobs, benefits, retirement benefits, also health care benefits. I know what worker productivity means, and that means that you have to make sure that your employees are taken care of and have a living wage. In the Bay Area, I believe it was the United Way, came out with a report that very recently, $127,000 for a family of 4 is just barely enough to get by. Another survey very recently, $104,000 for a family of 1, barely enough to get by. Low income because of the affordability crisis. And so just do the math. Just do the math. Of course, we have national minimum wages that we need to raise to a living wage. You're talking about $20, $25, fine. But I have got to be focused on what California needs and what the affordability factor is when we calculate this wage.
Wow, incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay, just when you think that the Democrats couldn't get more radical when it comes to economic issues, they just ratchet it up, man. Why not $500 an hour? Okay, why not $5,000 an hour, right? You know what, let's ratchet up. $15,000 an hour, okay? You need $15,000 an hour minimum wage. Why not, right? Economics is made up, right? We can just print an unlimited amount of money, $15,000 an hour. That should be the floor, minimum, okay? Again, this is where Democrats are going. This is exactly where they're going. And the crazy part is that in Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs world, California, it'll probably work, right? It will probably work. Okay, she will probably get votes based off calling for a $50 an hour national minimum wage, which is completely unsustainable even in her state of California, let alone a state with a much lower cost of living like, I don't know, the Midwest, okay, or the southeast of the United States. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And she's sitting here talking about the cost of living in places like San Francisco. Well, the reason why is because of your minimum wage policies. The reason why is because overregulation from states like California. The reason why is because you guys continuously make it harder for businesses to operate in your state, therefore increasing the cost of operating, which means they have to increase the cost of goods and services. And Democrats want to increase the cost even more. And they magically think that somehow, some way, that's going to make things better for them and more affordable. And that's just not how it works. That's just not how it works. This is why you have these people boohoo, whining, and crying about the price of McDonald's, the price of fast food in California, the fact that prices are going up after the minimum wage increase. And it's like, well, duh, what did you think was going to happen? Right? You thought that they were going to leave prices the same, and all of a sudden now you're going to be able to get an increase in the minimum wage. You're going to increase costs, and the business isn't going to adapt. They're not going to adjust. No, that's not how it works, honey. It's not how it works. But again, this is how these people think. These liberals think in places like California. This is what they vote for, and then they turn around and they complain about their policies, the results of the policies that they asked for. It's absolutely insanity. They can see that, oh yeah, this is bad. This is not working out well for us. And then they'll turn around and vote for it again. Amazing stuff. But again, people are now shocked that fast food prices are going up as a result of the minimum wage increase.
Regulations mean higher costs. The burritos and Big Macs are going to cost more in California because minimum wage in the state just jumped $20 an hour. All of that's happening in April. And that will find its way to you. Fat Brands chairman and founder Andy Wiederhorn joins us now. Andy, thank you so much. Curious about how you see in your business higher wages. If you have to pass that on to the consumer, is the consumer handling that?
Well, the consumers who are voters must have known what they were getting into by promoting this legislation to raise the minimum wage from $15 to $20 and on its way to $25.
Well, apparently they didn't, right? Apparently they didn't, because they're shocked and they're upset with what they voted for. So again, you would think that in a sane world, a sane society, that these people would understand the results or the consequences of their vote, but apparently they don't.
And look, everyone wants their employees to make more money, but it just costs and someone's got to pay for it. And the restaurant operators don't have the margin for that. So prices are going to go up.
Andy, you've got the McDonald's CEO talking about affordability. Everybody thinks of that brand and thinks of a cheap meal, a fast meal. Having said that, we know that Big Mac combos are running roughly $18, and it's not a surprise when you see minimum wage at $20, but there's so much pressure on the fast food chain to bring that price down. Even President Biden calling out the grocery chains and saying, bring your prices down or we'll call you out. In some cases, they can't do it and still run a business, can they?
There's no way. I mean, look, a restaurant operator makes anywhere from 5 to 15% in the bottom line at the end of the day. And if your labor cost is 1/3 of your cost, so 30%, and you raise the wage from $15 to $20 or $25 over the next couple of years, you're almost doubling that cost. And so they're going to have to raise prices. There are things you can do as an operator to promote value. For just as an example, you could do an all cheese pizza instead of a pepperoni pizza or barbecue chicken pizza. Things like that. You can control your portion size. You can use a little bit of technology. But look, we're still in the hospitality business, and the guest experience has to be number one. As we return from COVID to dining rooms and dining out and even to-go food, the guest wants a good experience, and that just costs money.
Andy, thank you very much for that. We appreciate your thoughts.
Yeah, so again, this is basic business economics that liberals apparently don't understand, right? They don't really get that, okay? And they'll probably end up voting for Barbara Lee, who's calling for a $50 an hour minimum wage. Can you guys imagine the price of a McChicken, right? With a $50 an hour minimum wage, it'll probably cost you $15 to $20 for a little McChicken, okay, and some fries. Okay, that is, it's ridiculous to think about. But instead of actually coming up with good ideas on how to lower the cost of living in California, like, I don't know, rolling back on regulations, okay, getting rid of some of that red tape, doing things that make it a more business-friendly environment. No. We're actually just going to try to buy more votes and advocate for a $50 an hour minimum wage. This is ridiculous. I don't understand why anybody in 2024 is still voting Democrat. These people are insane, right? They're absolutely insane. It doesn't matter what policy it is. They'll sell it to you, bad policy, and then they'll get more extreme with it, right? At first it was $15. Now it's $20, $25, now it's $50, right? It's at $50 now, right? They're calling for a $50 an hour minimum wage. Absolutely insanity. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.